The hatchet in the basement was clean. Too clean. Its wooden handle had been scrubbed until the grain stood proud, and its blade gleamed with an unnatural shine. When the police discovered it during their investigation of the Borden murders, this pristine tool in a dusty cellar raised more questions than answers. Like Lizzie Borden herself, it presented a facade of propriety that only made the underlying horror more profound. On the morning of August 4th, 1892, in the stifling heat of Fall River, Massachusetts, Andrew Borden and his wife Abby were transformed from pillars of society into twisted tableaux of violence. Andrew, his face cleaved nearly in two by a hatchet, sprawled on the sitting room sofa. Abby lay face down in an upstairs bedroom, her skull shattered by 19 savage blows. In the house where these horrors unfolded, 32-year-old Lizzie Borden moved with strange serenity, her white dress spotless, her answers calm and measured. Born into relative privilege in 1860, Lizzie was a child of contradictions. Her father's wealth made her one of Fall River's elite, but Andrew Borden's notorious frugality kept his family living in a house without indoor plumbing in an unfashionable neighborhood. Her status as a Sunday school teacher and member of the Women's Christian Temperance Union sat uneasily alongside her reputation for shoplifting and her barely concealed rage at her father's new wife, Abby. The Borden household was a pressure cooker of repressed emotions and simmering resentments. Andrew's penny-pinching ways chafed against his daughter's social aspirations. His decision to transfer property to his second wife's family sparked fury in Lizzie and her sister Emma. Abby, never accepted as a true mother figure, was referred to by both sisters simply as Mrs. Borden. The family dined separately, their meals as fractured as their relationships. In the weeks before the murders, strange currents disturbed the household's surface calm. Lizzie attempted to purchase prussic acid from a local drugstore, claiming she needed it to clean a sealskin cape. She burned a dress in the kitchen stove 3 days after the murders, explaining it had been stained with paint. The murders themselves were acts of almost unimaginable fury. Abby Borden, struck from behind as she made a bed, endured a rain of blows that spoke of years of pent-up hatred. Andrew, returning home from his morning business rounds, found brief rest on the sitting room sofa before his killer turned his face into a mask of gore. The savagery of the attacks suggested not just murder, but annihilation, a desperate need to destroy rather than merely kill. Yet in the immediate aftermath, Lizzie maintained an eerie composure. When neighbor Adelaide Churchill asked if she knew where her father was, Lizzie replied with chilling lightness, "I don't know, but I wish you would look. I've been up in the barn and have not heard him come in." She spoke of Abby going out to visit a sick friend, even as her stepmother's cooling corpse lay upstairs. The trial that followed became a sensation, pitting traditional notions of feminine gentility against the brutal reality of the crimes. Could a woman of Lizzie's social standing, a churchgoer, a lady, commit such savage acts? The physical evidence was circumstantial, they reasoned, and surely a lady would have been covered in blood had she committed such crimes. But Fall River society rendered its own verdict. Lizzie and Emma used their inheritance to buy a grand house in the fashionable Hill district, which Lizzie named Maplecroft. Yet their social isolation grew complete. Former friends crossed the street to avoid them. Whispers followed Lizzie everywhere. She took to calling herself Lizbeth, as if a new name could wash away the old suspicions. Her friendship with actress Nance O'Neill sparked scandalous rumors and drove the final wedge between her and Emma, who moved away, never to see her sister again. In her later years, Lizzie became a ghost in her own life, haunting Maplecroft's rooms with her birds and her memories. She developed a passion for animal welfare, perhaps finding in creatures what she could no longer find in human company. Her will left significant sums to the Animal Rescue League, as if seeking to balance some cosmic ledger of violence and mercy. The psychological portrait that emerges is complex and disturbing. Was Lizzie a calculating killer who used society's assumptions about feminine delicacy as a shield? Or was she a repressed Victorian woman who finally exploded under the pressure of thwarted ambitions and domestic tyranny? The murders themselves suggest both careful planning, the clean hatchet, the perfect alibi of being in the barn, and uncontrolled rage in their ferocity. Modern psychologists might diagnose dissociative elements in her behavior, noting how her calm demeanor after the murders suggests a profound split between action and emotion. Her childhood, marked by her mother's early death and her father's emotional distance, may have created fertile ground for such psychological fractures. Death, when it came for Lizzie in 1927, found her alone except for her hired companions. The woman who had once taught Sunday school died with her community's doors firmly closed against her. Her funeral was sparsely attended, the flowers few, the mourners mostly curious onlookers rather than genuine grievers. The Borden case endures not just as an unsolved murder mystery, but as a window into the hidden chambers of the Victorian soul. Behind the lace curtains and proper manners lurked capacities for violence that society refused to acknowledge. Lizzie Borden, whether guilty or innocent, became a symbol of these repressed shadows. A proper lady who might or might not have taken up a hatchet one sweltering August morning and turned her family's blood into a Rorschach test for society's fears about women, violence, and power. Today, the Borden house operates as a bed and breakfast, where guests can sleep in the room where Abby Borden met her end. They sing the childhood rhyme. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. They pose for photos on the couch where Andrew Borden died. Few notice how the mirrors in the house seem to reflect something darker than mere images, as if somewhere behind the glass, a proper Victorian lady in a spotless white dress still moves through rooms spotted with bloodstains that no amount of scrubbing could ever truly clean. Let us know if you enjoyed this video. Also, let us know in the comments what historical figures you'd like us to profile next. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like these.